What's up, everybody? MTG Trader here. So this is take 5. Let's see if I can get it right on this one. I'm going to do this non-stop, and when it ends, it ends. Hopefully, I'm trying to cut it down to less than a half an hour, because that's what I ended up with the first time I did this. And so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been playing Magic since 1999. A friend of mine got me into the game, and I really liked it, so I stayed with it. I used to play exclusively green, and then started playing green white and trying some of the other colors. Now I prefer green, white, and blue. Those are my favorite colors, although I do occasionally play some of the other colors. I'm mostly an EDH player, and for my trades, that's reflected in how I trade. The video today is really to just give you a quick introduction into how I do my trades, how I try to make my trades as profitable as possible for myself, although I generally don't sell most of my collection. I do trade for profit, and I do trade so that my trades generate additional value for my collection. I've got a small sample size of my collection there. That's some of the sealed product that I own. I figured I'd throw some out there for you guys so that you can see and get an idea of my collection over time, and some of the boxes that I have, some of the specialty products that I have, etc. Right now I've got about 200,000 cards that I've been collecting really since 1999. I've gotten in and out of Magic a few times since then, but held on to most of my collection for the most part throughout those years, throughout that time. I did sell a fairly large collection a while ago, and have regretted it ever since. And once that happened, I've pretty much never done that again. I've decided I want to hold the majority of my collection as an investment vehicle. All right, so let's talk about how I trade and what I trade. I do have a couple trade binders. In those trade binders, I try to have relevant cards for trading. One of the biggest things that I see when I'm trading with other people that put those people at a disadvantage when they're trading is they stick a lot of cards in there that just really have no value, and nobody's looking for those cards. It's really just kind of bulk cards, and a lot of people tend to put bulk cards, especially when they're starting out in Magic, into their binders, and I guess they have some expectation that people will snap some of those cards up. That just makes it harder for somebody to trade with you. So I would recommend that in your trade binder, however you decide to trade in whatever format you're trading for, that you have cards relevant to those formats that you're trading for. I trade, for the most part, I trade through all the formats, although I trade the least in standard because the standard is the least profitable for me. So I tend to trade mostly in modern and in vintage and in commander. Most of my trades are for commander. That's the format I play the most. It's the format I'm the most familiar with, and it's the format that most of the players that I play with are also involved in. So about my trade binder, I try to keep cards that are relevant in the trade binder. The other thing that I try to do is I try to put cards in the trade binder that are older or haven't seen a reprint in a while, and that benefits me as a trader because, one, the value of those cards has gone up over the years, and two, since they haven't seen a reprint in a while, they are cards that people don't see as much in trade binders, so they're more highly sought after, they're more tradable for the most part, and they generate the most value for me. I'll give you an example of that. Let's look through this trade binder and see what I've got in here. Alright, so let's see, Phantasmal Image. Phantasmal Image is a card that people do look for on a regular basis. The value of Phantasmal Image has steadily continued to increase, so that's in my trade binder. Visions of Beyond has recently seen some movement over the past year or two. That card has really started to move, so that's in my trade binder as well. Things like Bloodline Keeper. I've got a foil Shadowborn Apostle. Shadowborn Apostle has really started to move recently, and it's gained in value significantly, so that's in here. We've got Vexing Devil. All right, an older card, hasn't seen a reprint, so its its value is higher than cards that have seen recent reprints. Birds of Paradise has seen many reprints, but that card continues to go up once the reprint has been out for a little while. So I do have Birds of Paradise in here. Court of Calling, let's see, is another good one. I've got Chroma's Memorial is a card that's highly sought after for EDH, has gone significantly up in value over time. Mana Vault, I believe this is a revised Mana Vault. The value of that is somewhere between $28 and $32, I think, the last time I looked. Mana Vault I got into at about $3 to $4. I traded for this Mana Vault, so I've seen a significant increase in value. So when I trade this card out, I'm getting a 10x almost increase in value when I trade it out. Lightning Greaves is another card, highly sought after, used in Commander consistently. Everybody pretty much needs a Lightning Greaves, so I've got a couple in my binder. Cabal Coffers. Cabal Coffers is another great card. Has only seen one reprint in a From the Vault, I believe. So that card has really moved in value. That is an uncommon, and it's in the $28 to $35 range, I think, right now. So that card is an awesome spec, and I keep it in this binder because I feel it's reached pretty much the pinnacle of its value, or pretty close to as high as this card is going to go, and I'm going to get the most value out of this card that I can. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth is another card. I picked this card up during M15. I used to trade for this card extensively in M15 when it was between $4 and $6. I picked up as many as I could. If I saw them in people's binders, I would just take them out of there. The previous printing of Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth had been $28 to $30, somewhere in that price range, and I was really shocked that it dropped to the $4 to $6 mark at that point in time, and I said, I've just got to pick up as many of these as I can because future value on this card is going to be significant, and I will be able to use it in trades to really increase the value of my collection. Strip Mine is a great card as well. That's in the binder also. Some notable mentions for uncommons. I already talked about a couple of them, like Lightning Greaves and Cabal Coffers, but cards that people are always looking for: Path to Exile, Manamorphose, Ashnod's Altar. Those cards have not seen reprints recently. It's been a little while since they've seen reprints for those. Ashnod's Altar, it's been a long time, and that's a card used significantly in EDH. I bought 100 Ashnod's Altars at a time when they were 39 cents, and they are now somewhere between $2.75 and $3. So I've made a significant amount of money on them in terms of raising the value of my collection. Reliquary Tower is another one. When Reliquary Tower sees a reprint and the price drops, I stop trading Reliquary Tower and I start acquiring Reliquary Towers. So this is all very cyclical. If you can get, you get that idea that as these things get reprints, I will pull them from my trade binders and I will stop trading them, and I will start acquiring them until they reach a set value and they haven't seen a reprint in a little while and their value has grown enough that I'll put them back in my binder. So some of these things can be cyclical. Path to Exile was cyclical. Lightning Greaves, Reliquary Tower, Urborg, those are all cards that when they were printed, Birds of Paradise is another one. Those are all cards that when they were printed, I stopped trading them out and started acquiring them so that I could trade them at a later date. What am I trading for now? What kind of cards am I picking up? There's a pretty large list that I maintain of cards that I look for, but I'm going to give you a quick idea so that this video doesn't run very long. Some of my favorites right now are Aven Mind Sensor. Haven Mind Sensor saw a reprint. This card was about $12 prior, and it is I've acquired these, I think, at about the 45 to 55 cent range, and pick them up every single time I see them. As long as they remain under $1, I will probably continue to trade for them. And then once they go past that dollar, I'll probably move them out of the for trade list and just kind of sit on them until they grow in value and I can put them back in a trade binder to trade for something else. Ramunap Excavator, great spec card. This is one that has not been printed before. This is from the Amonkhet block. Wow, what a card. So this is similar to Fauna Shaman in that it does something that a very expensive card in Magic does, but it's on a creature, it's on a stick. So this is a Crucible of Worlds on a stick. When I first saw this card, I thought to myself, well, I've got to pick up every single one of these that I can. I will trade for them out of people's binders. If I see them, this card is going to go places, and I will continue to trade for it. Crucible Worlds. Crucible Worlds just saw a reprint in M19. It is somewhere between $16 and $18. It used to be over $60. I will trade for this card every single time I see it in a binder, as long as it remains reasonably inexpensive. I would probably cut it off at about $25 and stop trading for it at that point, but we'll continue to trade for it as long as it maintains a reasonable price, which I expect it to, as long as M19 is in standard and M19 continues to be printed. The next two cards are from, one of them is from Battle Bond. They're both green cards. Seedborn Muse saw a reprint in Battle Bond. Seedborn Muse was over $20 when it, at one point. The reprint is somewhere in the $4 to $5 price range, I believe, is what I traded this for the last time I made a trade. It is an EDH staple. Every single green deck in EDH is going to be running a Seedborn Muse. Battle Bond is currently out of print from what I understand, and so these should start to rise in price as they are they become scarcer and harder to acquire. So I will trade for every single Seedborn Muse that I see, and will not trade out Seedborn Muse if I can avoid it. All right. One of my favorite picks here, Regal Force. Regal Force saw a reprint in Elves versus Inventors, and Regal Force was an $8 or $9 card prior to that reprint. I picked up a significant amount of Regal Forces when they came out, when that deck was released. I picked up a few hundred of them. They were 39 cents, I believe, is what I paid for them at the time. I've gone back and checked that price. They are slowly rising in value. I think they're between 70 and 80 cents right now online. I will continue to hold these until they hit probably $3 or $4, and then I will slowly start to introduce them into my trade binder, so that I can really, at the $4 mark, I'm getting a 10x return on my investment. Every single 39 cents that I spent on these Regal Forces will net me a $4 trade if I start putting them in my binder at the $4 mark. So you can see where 39 cents gets me 10x return. And what will I trade for at that point in time? I will trade for things that have seen a reprint. So when new sets come out, regardless of whether they're standard sets or they're specialty sets or they're commander sets, whatever it happens to be, I generally go through those sets and I look at what cards that are staples in Magic are seeing reprints, and what do I need to pull out of my binder, and what do I need to start acquiring. And so that is generally what I do, and over time that has helped me and benefited me significantly trading like that, because I'm acquiring cards at pretty much an all-time low for those cards, and I'm trading out cards at as close to an all-time high as I can for those cards, and that just really increases the value of my Magic collection over time significantly. Now, I have the ability to do that, right? So I have a significant amount of cards. I've got a fairly large collection. I'm I don't need the money. I don't need to sell my collection for the money, so I can do that. I happen to be in a position where I can sit on cards and I can trade in this way. Now, you don't have to be in the position that I'm in to do this. You can do this on a much smaller scale. Just try to keep the things that I've discussed here in mind. Try to trade out cards that are at peak value or close to their peak value, and acquire cards that are significantly reduced in value or have depreciated in value significantly because of reprints. And you can do this with a small subset of cards in your collection that you just continuously roll over into more and more value as you see fit, right? So you can, doesn't matter what level that you're playing Magic at, you can set aside, everybody should be able to do that, set aside a small group of cards if you want to start small that you can get maximum value from and trade into things that you're going to be able to hold on for a significant amount of time. And what I'm telling you is, don't go out and max out your credit cards, and don't borrow money, and don't do those types of things to acquire these cards. This is a long-term strategy for me. I've been in the game since 1999, and I'm going to continue to be in the game for the foreseeable future, for as long as I can, for as long as I can, really. I'm going to be in the game. And this is a long-term strategy for me. And I've started where you guys are, where a lot of you guys are, with a small collection, just getting into the game, not really knowing a lot about trading. And hopefully this will help those of you who don't have a large collection set aside some of those cards so that you can trade more effectively, so that you can get a better return on your trades than you're currently getting. And hopefully you find this helpful, and you can increase the value of your Magic collection with a pretty easy to follow formula. It's not that hard to do. It's not that difficult. All right. This is the first video on my channel. I hope you liked it. I'm going to continue to produce more videos. One of the things that I would like to do is on a fairly regular basis, maybe weekly, I will give you my target of cards that I've added to my spec that I'm going to be trading for, cards to look out for, and maybe cards that I've added now to the binder that may not have been in there before, that I feel have reached enough value that I can put them into a binder and try to trade them out. All right, and that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to, you can leave comments down below. Tell me whether you liked it, whether you hated it, whether you want to see more of it. All right, great. I'll talk to you all soon, and you guys have a great time, and happy magicking, whatever the hell that means. But enjoy your Magic the Gathering collection and your games. All right, take care.